Hello, my name is Elena Hudson, and I'm currently doing my internship at the Sutherland Institute. The Sutherland Institute is in Salt Lake, and it was perfect for me as a marriage and family studies major with an emphasis in advocacy. So I didn't want to do something geared towards therapy. I wanted to do something geared more towards policy and things like that. And so the Sutherland Institute was a good place for me. So the way I found my internship was actually very simple. When I was in the child and family advocacy class with Brother Rarick, one of the things that we do during that class is we take a trip down to Salt Lake, well, down to Utah anyways, and we go and visit different places in Salt Lake that might be a good fit for us along that path. And so one of the places that we ended up visiting was the Sutherland Institute. And that was really my first introduction to it. For me, it was, I felt good being there, and it was a place where I could see myself. So that's really why I ended up considering it from that trip. But I would say that trip was very influential in me deciding to actually go there because I had already visited the organization, the nonprofit. Another thing that helped me, because I applied to a few different places, I didn't just apply to the Sutherland Institute, was the the website on on the BYU Idaho website. There is a marriage and family internships page, and they just list possible internships, ones that people have done in the past, along with um, emails and phone numbers, things like that, that help. Even if you're not interested in the ones listed, it helps give you a good idea for what you should be looking for and potentially branching out from those. So I find that even if you haven't visited a place, going to that website was very helpful, at least starting out, because it genuinely helped to give me a good idea as to what would most likely be accepted and what wouldn't be accepted when I was trying to apply for internships. So, um, my responsibilities at my internship, so I'm a public policy intern, and so mostly what I have spent my time doing and will do towards the end of, as I get to the end of my internship, is research. So the main thing you do at the Sutherland Institute is you come on and they want you to research a topic. They do want you to be interested in the topic, but it does need to be beneficial to the organization. Um, so you kind of discuss with your mentor, what are you interested in, what can help Sutherland. So when I started, I was with a mentor who was geared more towards public policy with education. And that wasn't as much something that I had studied while at BYU Idaho. And so, if I'm being honest, it didn't interest me as much as other topics would have. And so we discussed it a little bit more, and we were able to find something that I was more interested in, that had to do more with family policy, and we were able to take that and kind of segue it into education. So I ended up choosing hookup culture and consent, and we kind of moved that into sex education. So there was a give and take on both sides, but they do want you, because you'll spend so much time researching, it is really important that you choose a topic that you can research for, you know, several months each day, every day of the week for several months. So, and with that topic, You then create a research presentation and a research paper. And both of those are property of Sutherland once you're creating them for these projects for them to take, essentially. Which is why they want you to make sure that they're professional and that they make sense and that they're credible. And I would say in that way, they try really hard to make sure that you understand that you're making them professional, and because you will present them to everyone, and everyone has different backgrounds. There's lawyers, there's communications, policy. Everyone has a different background, and so to present the information to a wide scope of people, you really want to make sure that it's up to par. And then I would say just another logistical thing as far as what I was doing most of the time. If I wasn't researching, I was helping with like events. We did a few events. Well, we did more than a few events. And that there's some general setup and takedown. And obviously, the Sutherland Institute is a very small organization. There's not a lot of employees, and so they need everyone who's there. So I would say it's not demeaning. Everyone is helping, and you as part of the team, you're helping to do like this setup takedown that everyone else is kind of doing. Um, and as I do different parts of it, so that's a little that you're just kind of filling in. When I say setup takedown, like that's more of a segue into you're filling in where you're needed because the group is so small. And but everyone honestly there is willing to do that to the capacity that they should. So it's not just the interns that are uh, you know filling in for when there's a lack and something needs to happen. So some of the benefits that I found from interning at the Sutherland Institute is, well, for them especially, is this research that you're compiling. So the Sutherland Institute really, it's a public policy think tank. They're trying to gather information as much as they can, so that when they're asked about a topic or they want to weigh in on a topic in the community that's going to affect law, they they want correct information. And so you as an intern will, at least if you're a public policy intern, there's other interns. You can be a communications intern and there's other things. But me personally, because I was public policy, I they really benefit from this research because again, you hand it over to them when you're done. They own it. And so they also do really benefit from you creating a presentation that can be used in the future, especially because you have to present it to them. Number one, they get to see potentially how it can be presented. But number two, they um, you want it to be professional because you're going to present it, and so they really do benefit from having these professional presentations and research to back it up. So I would say that's their main benefit, honestly, is just having someone there to do some of the load of what they typically do. So me as an intern, I would say I benefited a lot from meeting legislators. And it wasn't usually set up, but we would have events where they would come, either to the Sutherland Institute or somewhere else. I also was sometimes up on the Hill, and so at the Capitol building, and so I was able to just run into different legislators, and for the most part they were very nice, and because they knew the organization we were with, they were very welcoming to talk to us. So I would say that was a benefit. We learned we learned a little bit more. I would say I benefited from learning a little bit more how to present research, um, because I did a lot of researching in college and I wrote a lot of papers. Uh, I didn't have as much of a chance to um, have formal presentations. I did a few times, but I didn't necessarily have a chance all the time to present heavy research that I had done. And I would say, just as a general rule, it's been great to get career advice and to talk to some of the people there about real concerns that I have going out to the workforce and just different things like that. And so they've been great as far as advice, telling us the path that they've been on, and I would say also helping us make connections. So, and as well, the coursework. So, coursework, obviously, when I was at BYU, Idaho, as opposed to my internship, I would say the biggest takeaway and the biggest thing that I take from my coursework to my internship is it's a very similar work ethic that is required. And what I mean by that is, as I said before, I did a lot of research in college, and you really, I really learned how to devote that time while I was in college, and I think you need a very similar dedication to the time that it's going to take, um, at least in this internship. It's not just going to happen in a day. Not good thorough research, anyways, and so the work ethic is very similar, and the writing and presenting research in an interesting way, again, I think is similar. It's not the same because you're in a very professional setting, and you want it to be professional because they'll present it to other people. But I would say, as far as like needing good research and presenting it and sounding competent, that was stressed while I was at school, and I think that that's very similar here. And it's not that intimidating because of the time that I spent at BYU Idaho. So overall, I would recommend this internship to not every marriage and family studies major. Honestly, it would be to those looking to go more into advocacy. Honestly, if you are looking to do more of therapy, I don't think you would get as much out of it. I don't think you would enjoy it as much, because it's policy and law, and that's really what we're focused on. So to apply, how I applied, and the easiest way is to just go to the website, Sutherland Institute, and for the Sutherland Institute, and go to the internship page and apply there. It's actually very simple. They have a bunch of frequently asked questions. It shows you the dates that you can apply for, and so you'll do all that. They'll set up an interview with you later, but the easiest way on it is through the website. There's no one really to contact directly. Um, I mean, there is, but I would say they would appreciate it more if you went through the website. Don't call them directly unless you have questions or they're not getting back to you, things like that. But start off with the application. But yeah, I've been really grateful to intern there, and it's my hope that those who watch this will find it beneficial, because internships can be super beneficial, and I think especially this one, if you're a Paul advocacy emphasis, that you'll find it helpful.